and the sea and the Central Peninsula and the Snowdonia Mountains, and I'm as happy as a pig in shit, I've got to be honest. Right, it's Sunday the 25th of June. Some of the realities of the difficulties of living in a van in the UK are kind of wearing on me a little bit at the moment. Apparently there used to be loads of places in Wales that you could stop overnight, and things have changed. A lot of the places you used to be able to park overnight have gone. There are signs saying no overnight parking, and it seems that they're trying to, bring more money into the economy, which is fair enough if you can afford to do it. But a lot of the campsites around here are like £25 a night. I've been driving for a lot of the day. I had a free place last night up near Mehuntliffe, sort of north of Corris. It was a really nice spot. I met some really lovely people there, John and Catherine, I think it is, and spent a couple of hours with them in their van last night, just chatting about life and that. It was really fascinating, really lovely. Left this morning, kind of went past Abu Dhabi, went up the coast a bit. Was going to stop in Dolgello, but it's difficult to find anywhere to park because the van is quite big, but it's just tricky to park. A lot of these car parks aren't designed for motorhomes, and I've had to just keep moving on. I have stopped at some really lovely places for lunch and everything. So I just tried to get into this campsite. It's full. They weren't answering the phone. You couldn't book online, and I got to the gate. I thought I'd just chance my arm and come here and have a look, and they've got a sign on the gate saying they're full. I've just tried ringing another farm site just down the road, and they're not answering. So I don't know. I could possibly just drive back there and see if I can get in, but they charge £25 a night. Or I can just keep going. I'm kind of I'm at a point where I could head to Snowdonia and try and stay there for like 4 nights or something, book myself onto a campsite. But the weather's looking crap. Or my other plan was that if the weather looks bad for a few days, instead of just staying in Snowdonia for the sake of it, I could go out on the Hlym Peninsula and then just sort of have a drive around there, and then it brings me roughly the same kind of height as Snowdon and that part of Snowdonia that I would like to be in to run around in the mountains afterwards. But I'll be working again after a week. I've got to work tomorrow, Monday, and then the rest of the week I've got free. But it looks like I'm going to be having to book myself onto sites quite a bit, which is going to be quite expensive. There just aren't that many free spots available anymore. And the other thing is, if the weather's looking crap for the next 2 weeks, there's no point in me just hanging around, paying money to stay on campsites and not being able to really do anything. I might as well, I have run the mountains in Snowdon a lot. If I'm going to do them, and if I'm going to do things like Crib Goch and Tryfan, I want to do them in sunshine, and that weather just isn't here at the moment, and the weather looks quite unsettled for the next 2 weeks. So it would be better to try and maybe do those another time or on the way back down. And if I take too much time, I'm going to hit the Lake District in the middle of the summer, and it'll be horrendous trying to get anywhere. So I might have to start booking more in advance onto sites. I don't know, but one of my temptations is just to push north and head for Scotland, because I've been talking to some other people and they say Scotland's still really easy to travel around, and there's a lot of free spaces. You can just stop where you want. So yeah, I'm just taking a bit of time to chill and just think about what I'm going to do, because I could just keep driving and driving today and I'll just get really tired. Tomorrow I've got to work, to finish off a report, and I can do that just pulled over in a lay-by somewhere. But yeah, I'm kind of running out of options at the moment. I mean, I could end up just pulling into a lay-by the side of a road and just putting all the shutters down and trying to get some sleep. But I don't know yet. But it's the first time I've got to this part of the day and I still have no idea where I'm going to stay. But it'll work out. But it's just just proving a lot more difficult than I thought. And even, you know, if I head into Snowdonia, I'm going to have to book up in advance probably. And but there's just no point in doing that if it's going to piss or rain all the time. And all I do is end up walking around the shops and then sitting around in the van, not doing anything. I've got jobs I could do with the van, which I want to try and do this week anyway, but I'd like to do that somewhere nice. But we'll see. But yeah, just I didn't sleep very well at all last night. The lay-by was really noisy, and Mr. BP went by at 5:04 in the morning, and I was just starting to sort of fall back into a bit of a sleep again. But the other guy, John, he didn't sleep very well last night as well. There was a lot of traffic all through the night, so I think that's why I'm feeling a little bit despondent at the moment, because I'm knackered and I've just been driving on and off all day. Well, the highlight of the day actually was I did get to walk across the Barmouth Bridge. You can park at the opposite end of the bridge to Barmouth itself, walk over the bridge, which is fascinating. It's really old. You know, the bit you walk or cycle across is like made of wooden railway sleepers, some of which are quite rotten. And I had a look around Barmouth. Barmouth's a really interesting place. You know, hardly a chain store in sight except a big co-op. But so that was great. I met some nice people today. So yeah, I'm just going to chill out for a bit and then have another go. Well, there's a lesson learned there. It's about an hour since I last posted, when I was feeling really tired and despondent. And I downloaded Search for Sites, the Search for Sites app earlier. I sort of had it on my phone, but I couldn't use it because I hadn't downloaded all the information. And a couple of people I've spoken to in the last 3 days have been raving about how good it is. And so I tried to get into this one site that was shut, it was full. And then there was a little farm site just up the road that I tried to ring and they didn't answer. So I just drove here, and on the off chance I could get in. And as I got close, I realised that, you know, there were some camper vans here, motorhomes here, but you know, it's like at 15% capacity or something. And knocked on the door, spoke to this really nice lady. She's having trouble with her Achilles tendon from playing badminton. And yeah, £10 a night without hookup. The sun's coming out, so I should be getting enough charge to use my my laptop for work. And she said, you know, if I just keep paying £10 a day, I could stay here, you know, for numerous days, which would be a good way of getting some stuff done on the van while waiting for a weather window. It's also about a mile from Harlech Castle, so I can walk in to see the castle and have a look around town, which is something I wanted to do, and I was having trouble finding anywhere to park. And it's right next to the coast path. Coast path is about a quarter of a mile from here, so I can do some nice runs. And we can, just around the corner, you can see Snowdonia and the Llyn Peninsula. So I can spend a couple of days to get my head together, finish this work, and just calm down a bit, just sit, chill out. I can get some stuff done on the van. Oh, just see, I can see the tops of some of the mountains on the Llyn Peninsula. Oh wow! And yeah, I can look at trying to get this inverter fitted, and yeah, just get some stuff sorted out. Since I've been in the van just over 3 weeks now, and I haven't had a chance to do some of these fundamental things because I've been working so much. And then in between that, I've been just driving, and I feel as though I could just do a 3 or 4 days stationary somewhere, so I can just not have to worry about looking for places, and just get loads of jobs done. And then I'll feel really kind of revitalized to move on again. And you know, if the weather's going to crap out for a couple of weeks, then I'll head down the Llyn Peninsula and then review, maybe even come back here before going back to Snowdonia. So yeah, I'm feeling really relieved. I'm feeling really very happy and relieved that I found somewhere, and it's a nice spot. I'm looking out the window. I can't see the sea, but I just can see open kind of countryside, wild meadows with sheep grazing. I can see tops of mountains in the background and some big clouds. There's supposed to be some more electrical storms later. So yeah, it is an emotional roller coaster living in a van. Fucking hard sometimes, but you know, I feel so happy now. I feel so happy that I can just relax and get some shit sorted out. Right, cup of tea. So So I've come up into Harlech to have a look at the castle. I'm not going to go in because there's too much like work actually going in there, but the guys from the company I work for, they've done a lot of work here on the roads, and I'll show you the view here. But you get this stunning panoramic view of the top of the Hlim Peninsula and Snowdonia. The top of Snowdon is just about shrouded in cloud at the moment, but you can also see the campsite that I'm staying in just from here. It's about 2 miles away, so basically a quick walk up the it just turns out it's the steepest hill in the world, supposedly, but it's really steep. It must be about 1 in 3, especially on the hairpins, maybe even 1 in 2 or something. But yeah, it's a beautiful view. I've arranged to have some important mail sent to me to the campsite. I kindly offered to accept it there. So I'm going to book in for at least 4 nights here, and I'm going to just fix that big inverter in the van and just get a load of jobs done that I haven't had a chance to do. So I'm off 6 days now. I had to work this morning. I've got a little bit more to finish this evening. But yeah, I'm just having a second got. I bought a savoury item in a place up the road which is delicious, vegan thing, and a coffee which is disgusting, and I nearly tipped it down the drain. And I've come for a coffee and a cake. I've got a vegan brownie here which is delicious, and another quite weird coffee. But anyway, I'm looking at Harlech Castle and the sea and the Hlim Peninsula and the Snowdonia Mountains, and I'm as happy as a pig in shit, I've got to be honest. And I'm going to have a literally walk back to the campsite and then start getting stuck into all these little jobs I've got lined up for the rest of this week. And I'm going to be here for at least 4 nights, maybe longer, I don't know. I'll see. I can sit this out for a while, just check out the weather window, because I'm only paying £10 a night. So yeah, always good. Right, it's Tuesday the, what's it, 27th? Yeah, 27th of June. I haven't been filming as I go along because this is something that's been sort of I've been having to put off for some time in fitting this 1000-watt inverter, and I've taken quite a lot of advice on it. It's been conflicting advice on whether it needs to be wired into a chassis earth, and then the assumption was if the battery has got a good chassis earth then you wouldn't need to. The inverter is a 1000-watt inverter, but the most I'm going to be pulling out of it is something like 240-300 watts, I think. It's just for using my laptop for video editing and music editing. It looks like the battery hasn't got a really kind of beefy earth on it like a the main battery would, but then that's dealing with a lot more like oomph to turn the engine over on the starter motor. So I've wired it in. I've put a fuse in line, which is the fuse that the guy at Cardigan gave me, and I fired the laptop up and I've tried doing some video editing with it, and you can hear the inverter fan comes on and it's obviously working a bit. I don't want to push it too hard today because we didn't get a lot of sunshine yesterday, and it's looking quite well, it's raining today and it's really overcast. I think the sun's going to come out later, but I'm not going to have a huge amount of solar resource today, so I don't want to knacker my battery. It's in, it's charging my laptop up. I managed to get it securely mounted underneath my table out of the way. I did have to take the seat off, which I'd heard was a bit of a nightmare, but in fact it's actually held on by about 6 fairly hefty Allen bolts, but because it's been on and off a few times recently, having a brand new battery put in, and then the guy had to remove it to put in my wire in my diesel heater, it came off really quite easily. So yeah, it's been running for about 20 minutes or so now, half an hour, charging my laptop up. It doesn't seem to be a problem. I mounted it once and then realised it was really too close to the desk, and I wanted to make sure I had good airflow around it because it's covered in cooling fins and stuff. And then I realised that it was gonna be in the way of the lower fixing for the table, which you can use to kind of make a makeshift third bed, bed for a third person. and I'm not planning to use that. If anyone comes to stay with me, they'll have to sleep on the floor, because it's more important I get this sorted out. But it's running at the moment. I've left the seat off for now, just to keep an eye on everything, make sure nothing's getting hot under there. I've mounted the wiring. I've managed to mount the inverter, so I've got plenty of cable going in, and it means the fuse that I've put in is really accessible from the opening at the front underneath the seat. So if there was an issue, I could check to see if the fuse is blown. But it seems to be okay, and like I said, I'm only planning to stick my laptop in it. Occasionally I might be powering other, musical instruments maybe, but I'm not going to be getting anywhere near 1,000 watt, and I don't need to, I don't intend to, and if I know there's a bit of a question mark around this, I'm just not going to push my luck. At some point I might actually get someone to look at it and maybe stick a better earth on it, someone who really knows what they're doing. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'll probably stick the seat back on in a minute and put everything back together. But this is a huge thing off my list. It's been bugging me since I started, because I would like to be editing videos, when there's been a good solar resource, and get videos out there more regularly, especially when I start doing all the really exciting stuff. So yeah, it's been quite stressful trying to get this done, and because I have to make sure I've got a reliable way of working as well, because that's how I'm funding this trip, even though I'm only working about 50% of the time now. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick the seat back on now, and then maybe have another cup of coffee and chill the hell out. And one of the things that makes doing this kind of stuff more difficult is that you have such a limited amount of space. If it was a nice sunny day, I would have had probably the passenger door open. I could have taken the desk out and stuck it outside. I can't move the seat very far because it's connected to the seat belt. But I mean, I could have disconnected that. But anyway, it's done. Okay, it's Wednesday the 28th of June. I'm on my third day staying at this lovely campsite just north of Harlech Castle, and I've taken today as an opportunity to get a load of stuff done on the van. I've got to empty my grey waste, I've got to empty the loo, fill up with water, and my plan is to leave early tomorrow morning to get up to Snowdonia, hopefully to get up on the Carnids, Pennyroyal Wen, and on the Carnids. The forecast looks quite good. Looks like it's going to crap out again on Friday, and then possibly okay for Saturday. So if I get the van ready for an early kind of start tomorrow morning, I could get up there and hopefully get a good day in the mountains. I've had frustratingly, my garage has been just kind of rammed full of stuff, and it's difficult to get my mountain bike out, without moving sort of 3 or 4 boxes and juggling stuff around. I've got an access door from the inside, and there's a box kind of in the way of that. But I knew that there was quite a lot of extra space above that access door where I raised the bed back up, so I knew I had about another kind of 12 to 13 inches to play with effectively in the central part of the garage. So today I've been I just committed to it. It started raining at one point. I had to sling everything inside the van, and then it stopped raining after about 5 minutes, and I just jumped back out and carried on. So I spent about 2.5, 3 hours on this, but I've just made a very makeshift shelf at the back that fits a big sort of green plastic box with a load of, it's got oil and water and stuff like that for the van in it, and some other bits and bobs. So I'm able to put that, and a big kind of duffel bag that I've just put full of soft stuff that's quite sort of compliant, so I can push it into different size spaces, and another box full of bits and pieces of wood that I've brought with me. And a lot of what I've brought with me I've actually used now, which is great. So yeah, I've just finished. I've got to pack everything away now. tidy up, but it's made my garage space so much more accessible. I can get my mountain bike in and out really quite quickly now, and could potentially actually leave the front wheel in it, looking at it now. But anyway, we'll see. You know, it's funny, as I go, I'm realizing, you know, that I've got quite a lot of stuff that I don't need. I don't have a lot of room left in storage, but I've got a 25-gallon jerry can, plastic one that I bought when I picked the van up, that I thought would be useful as a backup. But I've got a kind of 12-litre one that I use a lot, used for drinking water, and I can use that for filling up my tank as well. So I just don't need it. I'm going to give it away to someone. I'm going to see if there's anyone around here who can make use of it, which is a nice thing to do, I think. But I'd like to give it to the farm because they've been really nice to me. You know, this is just such a good opportunity for me to kind of, you know, sort out some of these really annoying little things with the van that I've not been able to get to because I've been working. You know, this is, I think, other than a few days that I moved into the van, and the, you know, weekends, this is the first time I've actually had to just really get stuck into some of those really annoying jobs, or, you know, the jobs that I need to get done, like sticking in the big inverter and sorting out this garage space. The inverter, it seems to be working really well. Unfortunately, we haven't had any sunshine since I put it in, and I know that if I keep using it, I'm going to run my battery down. To fit the inverter, I had to remove the passenger seat to get at the battery, to make sure I had some good sort of fixings to the battery terminals. And I've realised that they put a really quite cheap and nasty £100, like, just low maintenance lead acid battery in there, which I shouldn't really run down beyond 50%. I thought it was supposed to be a gel one in there. So at some point I might stick a lithium one in there, but at the moment it's just a case of just trying to make everything work, you know, just fundamentally work, so that I can, you know, I need to work to fund this, and I need to get the basics right, and then I can just start tinkering as and when I earn money. You know, it's difficult for me to know how much money I'm going to be spending at the moment, but I think in the kind of 2 weeks that I've been going so far, I've spent about 125 quid on campsites. At the moment it's about 33% wild camping, and the rest paid campsites, but most of them either CCC sites, which I pay about 20 quid for, or these lovely cheap farm sites, which I really like. So yeah, I'm so glad to get these things ticked off my list, because they've been bugging me for 3 weeks.